Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called 8 Ways to Wellbeing. Good morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm glad you could join us this morning. I hope you had a lovely and safe Thanksgiving. To learn more about our church and our values, please visit our website at melroseuu.org. On our welcome page, you can find a link to our digital guest book. Rebecca, who is our chat host this morning, will share that link in the chat box now in case you need it. Our Zoom tech host today, as always, is Josh Miller. And today we welcome back from her parental leave our music director, Tara Tresner-Kirsch. You will see her lovely face in our closing hymn today. Also helping us out today and this coming month is Beth Harris, who is serving temporarily as our choir director while Tara sees to some family issues. Thanks for the help, and thanks to everyone for being here and joining in today. Feel free, as you like, to use the chat box to say hello and greet one another. And please all do feel welcome to stay afterward for our virtual coffee hour. Today's service has a few extra little pieces in it to give you the spice of variety. Up top, in place of the testimonial, Mary Beth Griscom will tell us about our Holiday Giving Tree initiative to benefit survivors of domestic violence and their families, and we'll see a video from our partners in that work. Then, just before our usual music piece called the Introit, we'll have a short ceremony to light the Advent wreath. Yes, can you believe it? Today is the first Sunday of Advent already. Christmas is coming, folks. Start getting ready. And as a special extra bonus today at the story time, we will get to hear from some of our younger kids. They will give us tips on how to manage stress and how to take care of our bodies and minds. Don't miss it. First, to get us started this morning, let's hear from Mary Beth Griscom and the Urban Ministry. Mary Beth, are you here?
Good morning. I'm Mary Beth Griscom, a member of the anti-racism team here at Melrose UU Church. This year, the anti-racism team is working with the UU Urban Ministry, which is based in Roxbury, to present one of our most meaningful holiday traditions, the Holiday Giving Tree. Over the past 5 years, MUUC has been working with the UU Urban Ministry to provide holiday gifts to the clients of Renewal House, a domestic violence shelter for individuals and families who are fleeing violence or abuse. Like so many traditions this holiday season, the Giving Tree will look and feel a little different this year. The UU Urban Ministry has had to change their gift-giving practices, and they are not able to accept physical gifts for their clients. They have asked us to donate gift cards that will directly benefit their clients. On behalf of the anti-racism team, I will collect the donated funds and purchase the gift cards to send to the UU Urban Ministry in advance of the holidays, so their clients may purchase gifts for their own families. You can locate the Giving Tree donation site on our homepage on our website at melroseuu.org. Thank you again for your generosity in giving to this program. Now, here is a video from our friends at the UU Urban Ministry, thanking MUUC for our participation in the Giving Tree program.
This year, the UU Urban Ministry commemorates our 40-year history supporting survivors of domestic violence through Renewal House, a shelter for families fleeing abuse. In 2017, we added an additional second program for survivors, Believe in Success, which is a trauma-informed and mindfulness-focused job and education readiness training program that we run twice a year.
In past years, your congregation's holiday support has made such a wonderful impact on the participants in our domestic violence programs. In this time of social distancing, we want to share with you what you've made possible and the social connections you have forged.
One recent Believe in Success graduate has shared with us, "Your help around the holidays always makes it a lot happier a time for me. As a single mother, it's so hard to be able to pay all the bills and still have money left over to get gifts for the kids. Another past participant shares, gift cards from the urban ministry always come in handy. It's a huge relief and enables me to help my family. And it also makes me feel included and not left out of the holiday celebration.
This year, with COVID-19 and our switch to remote programming, we need your help more than ever to make the holidays bright for the survivors we serve and for their families. We're asking for your help supporting past and current program participants with donations of gift cards for the holiday season.
We know that giving gift cards can feel less personal than buying a coveted toy or a warm winter jacket. In these times, gift cards are easier to distribute to our program participants who are learning remotely and being sheltered in safe, scattered apartment site locations.
But more than that, a gift card gives the important gift of choice. For those families who have relied on charity to make ends meet, being able to hand a Visa gift card to a Target cashier can be an empowering act. A gift card tells a family that they have the ability to choose what gift they want to give their children, and they also have the ability to choose what coat they will want to wear that makes them feel confident and cozy this winter.
This is such a significant gift, and it reiterates the approach we take every day in our programs. We know that survivors know best what keeps them safe, what helps them heal, and what justice looks like for them.
As one program graduate has written to us, of course my kids love the Christmas gifts from the urban ministry, and I am so thankful that they are able to have those gifts. What the kids don't know is that Believe in Success has also given them a mom who gets out of bed and goes to work every day, a mom who is grateful for the opportunity, a mom who is happy and proud of herself.
You are empowering survivors and bringing abundance to families that are likely to be experiencing scarcity this season. On behalf of all of us at the UU Urban Ministry, thank you and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for making the holidays brighter for the families that we serve, and we truly hope that you have a safe and Merry Christmas.
And now it's time for our weekly greeting one another. Yes, now is the time where we put it on gallery view so you can see everyone and scroll through the windows, wave, and send out all your virtual hugs and see who's here this morning. Hi, everybody. Oh, you're looking good. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. It's good to see you. It's almost like you're here with me. Thank you. Now it's time for our Advent wreath lighting. You can see the wreath I made right there. These Advent wreath lighting words come from the Reverend Megan Ruth Visser in Southern California. We are entering a time of year when the earth grows colder, the animals begin to hibernate, and the days become continually shorter. This morning marks the beginning of the season of Advent. In the Christian tradition, Advent is the beginning of the church year, recognizing the transforming power of God in the world and looking forward to the birth of Jesus and the celebration of spiritual light. And Christianity is not alone in celebrating light at this time of year. Hanukkah, solstice, and Kwanzaa all involve candles, fire, and lights as part of their celebrations. Each week until Christmas, we will light a new candle on the Advent wreath, which is a circle of evergreens, along with each of the preceding candles. The flame of each new candle reminds us that something is happening now, but something more is still to come. The light of Advent grows brighter and brighter, guiding us toward personal peace, shared joy, and more love. This morning, we light the first candle, which represents the value of hope. May we dare to open the shadowy places in our lives to the healing light of community. With the creative power of hope, we express our longing for peace and prepare our hearts to be transformed. Throughout the season of Advent, our choir will share with us different verses of the traditional carol, O Come, Emmanuel, for our introit. Please share the introit now. And now, along with UUs everywhere, I light the chalice, the symbol of our faith. Giving our chalice lighting reading this morning is Gail Maynard, who is representing the committee council this morning and serving this year as the chair of our Green Sanctuary Committee. Gail, are you here?
Yes.
Great. Take it away.
The chalice reading today are words by Sonbonfu Some, who was a writer and teacher on topics related to West African spirituality. She lived in Burkina Faso and died in 2017. She wrote, "Community is the spirit, the guiding light of the tribe, where people come together in order to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose, and to take care of one another."
Thank you, Gail. And now, because I think it's just never too late to give thanks, it's always a good time to give thanks, please join with the choir in our opening hymn this morning, the traditional Thanksgiving tune, "We Sing Now Together."
We sing out together a song of thanksgiving, rejoicing in His word which the angels have wrought. For life that enfolds us and helps and heals and holds us, and leads beyond the walls which our forebears once sought. We sing of the freedoms which martyrs and heroes have won, but ere their sorrow, their pain, their rest befriending, our emperors defending, their death becomes a triumph, they died not in vain. We sing of the prophets, the teachers, the dreamers, designers, creators, and workers and seers, our honors expending, our gratitude commending, their deeds have made immortal their days and their years. We sing of community now in the making, in every continent, region, and land, with those of all races, all times and names and places. We pledge ourselves in covenant firmly to stand.
And now let us join together in the words of our covenant, followed by the song of aspiration. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. Now it's time for our story. Here to introduce the story today is one of the leaders of our Storytellers Workshop, Beth Yergrow. Beth. Beth, we don't hear you. No, I'm sorry, it's not working. I'm so sorry, Beth. I have your words. I can go ahead and read them for you. I'm sorry that we can't hear your voice because we would have loved that. Sorry. I'm sorry. So this is what Beth wanted to say. She wrote, Katie and I had another great session with the kids last weekend. We talked with them about how we take care of our bodies and minds. We asked the kids, what do you like to do when you're feeling bored, upset, or frustrated? What are good ways to help you feel happier, more connected, creative, and curious? We brainstormed together for an hour, and Katie distilled the kids' wisdom into this fun video. We talked about many different ways that each of us can take care of our bodies, minds, and hearts, including topics like relationships, relaxation and recreation, nutrition and exercise, nature, favorite places, giving, and gratitude. Enjoy the video.
My dog, sometimes when I'm not too happy, I sometimes pet her and talk to her a little bit, and it makes me feel better.
When I play with my child, it makes me feel happy.
I always snuggle with my stuffed animal lion at night.
I have a good relationship with my parents. Dog.
And your dog, yeah.
I have two that are fun things and also are kind of relaxation things, reading a book and drawing. I like reading a book because then I get to hear some stories. And I like drawing because then I can make my own things.
I'm thinking doggies. I like playing my video games. Basically, you can do kind of anything you want. I mean, you can, start your game up, then, fly across the sky.
That is playing with some of my balloons. Care of my body by exercising, and some healthy foods I eat are I really love fruits, plus my favorite food is mango, and that's pretty healthy.
I also like mango, and I like going on bike rides,
Yeah.
which It's good for your body. Yeah, there's a lot of different colored fruits and vegetables. Like mango is orange, apples are red, stuff is green, and there's all different colors. And it's very important to take care of your body since if you take care of your body as a kid, then when you're an adult, when you get older, then you'll have a better body.
That's right.
A beautiful meadow. Like to pick, smell, and look at a lot of flowers. I actually go on bike rides to the ice cream shop named Socks. Eat ice cream.
What flavor?
Chocolate chip. Actually Blizzard, so you can have every flavor. I would like to be in Costa Rica. I would like to take a hike and see all the wildlife, like sloths and birds and all those. Yeah.
So-
I like going out into the woods because when you get to the top of the mountain, you get to see a great view.
Sometimes walks and it feels so like nice. Really connect with nature in lots of different ways. And one time I actually hugged a tree. I think if anyone was ever feeling kind of sad and maybe a little worried about something, hugging a tree would help. A lot of places nature. I like to go on hikes. I like to go on walks and stuff, and I like to do that type of stuff since it makes you feel a lot better, more connected to nature instead of more like at home all the time. I hope. Maybe sharing if one of your friends has something that don't have something that you have, which is important. Something that I did that I'm both sharing was that when yesterday at soccer practice, there was a little boy that forgot his soccer ball, and I let him use mine. Saying I love you, Mommy and my daddy. Mm-hmm.
One time I gave my Doc Mustafa set away to Heather, and it made me feel good.
What?
The person that gives feels better about it since they know that they helped someone and made someone feel happy. Sometimes, like when we donate some of our charity money to some places, like for animal causes or for poor people and stuff like that. This is a picture of my house. I am thankful for it because not everyone gets to have a house, and it makes me feel warm and safe. So I did a picture of my computer setup, and I drew it because I like playing video games, and why I like playing video games is because I like use my imagination and I could build things and do kind of whatever I want.
This is my kitten-to-be, Irina, and I am grateful for her because she is cute and she warms my heart.
So on mine I drew some trees. I also drew a bird and a sloth hanging from the branches since I'm grateful for nature because nature fuels our resources, and I'm very grateful that it's there so that you can feel more connected to everything and so that you can become more you become more of a person and you have a much nicer time. So this is a picture of a husky watching a movie. I love movies and huskies so much. Remember? Yay!
I just love that. And Beth, I'm sorry we didn't get to hear your description of it, but it was so lovely to hear from the children. Thank you. Now, every Sunday in our worship, we make space for a time of prayer and meditation and shared silence. So please now settle into your chair and breathe. First, we'll share our centering song, which this month for our theme of healing is "It Is Well." After that, we'll sit together in silence for a few moments. Then we'll share our joys and sorrows and a prayer. Let us join now together in quiet reflection.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul. It is well with my soul.
Every week, we share with one another the personal milestones of our lives, the joys and sorrows that mark our days, so that we might companion one another on this journey called life. If you have a sorrow to share with us today, please type it into the chat box and I will read it aloud. From Florence, candle of support for my grandmother, Jean, who is in failing health. but was better yesterday than the day before. From Jane and Chuck, a candle of concern for our friend Jim H., who has been very ill with COVID. Let us all now pause and breathe, holding all of the sorrows of this community, those spoken and unspoken, together in reverence and in love. May those who are...
There's one more.
Oh, okay. Let me get that. I have to go to a different screen, so I'm back now. From Marie, a candle of concern for a friend and neighbor whose son has been dealing with a serious tick-borne illness for about a year now. The disease has troubling psychological manifestations and the whole family is struggling. Please keep them in your thoughts. Okay, thank you, Marie. May those who are hurting this week feel that we are with them, that we are holding them in compassion and care. We send them our prayers for strength and healing, and we offer to them whatever help we can give. I will now light one candle as a beacon of care for all the sorrows, spoken and unspoken today. And now I ask for all the joys that you would like to share. Type them into the chat box and I will read them aloud. From Laura, Allison, and Irina to everyone, candle of joy that we finally have our kitten home with us. Welcome, Irina. From Joyce to everyone, a candle of gratitude for family, friends, flowers, and pecan pie. From Gretchen, for my niece Brooke and her family who were able to adopt the foster child they have been caring for since he came to them as a newborn more than 3 years ago. Oh, that is a blessing. From Cheryl, a candle of joy that we got to spend Thanksgiving with Chris's mom. From Beth Yergrau, a candle of joy for the pleasure of working with some of our UU kids in Katie and my storytelling class. From Florence, a candle of love for my Uncle John, who successfully cleared the first of 3 surgeries to help him live better with Parkinson's. From the Weinbergs, candle of joy for Heather's 5th birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to Heather. From John Wright to everyone, a candle of joy for sharing kale recipes with friends exploring local food in Paris. And from Corey, gratitude to have Kate with us for Thanksgiving. So many joys. Are there any more? Thank you. By sharing these joys, you connect us to one another and to the joy of living. We celebrate with you. I now light one more candle to shine out our thanks for all the blessings shared here this morning. Please join with me in the spirit of prayer. The Reverend Molly Hausch Gordon, our minister in Columbia, Missouri, wrote this prayer last week. Mysterious source of all, spirit of love, moving within and between and among us, we join our hearts today in a swirl of gratitude and grief, ever terrified at life's command to hold both at once, ever awestruck at the soul's capacity to stretch and make room. We join our hearts in deepest grief for the 260,000 lives lost to COVID-19 these last 8 months. Some of them very dear to us, all of them beloved. We hold in tender care all who are sick, all who are fearfully quarantined or awaiting test results, and all who are worried for their loved ones or themselves. We hold in deepest concern all healthcare workers stretched to the brink and facing trauma. We mourn with all who are grieving losses of all kinds in isolation. We lament with everyone struggling to stay housed and fed, abandoned by the systems that should catch us and hold us in these crisis moments. And we join hearts in gratitude for all the blessings of our lives, for what food and shelter we do have, for caring neighbors, strangers, and friends, for loved ones whose precious, unlabored breathing we no longer take for granted, for technology that connects us, for all the ways we have found to reach out to one another in mutual support and material interconnection. Together we grieve, together we are grateful. On this Thanksgiving weekend, we join hearts in confession and lament for the sins of our faith forebears, those pilgrims who landed on the shores they called Plymouth 400 years ago, bringing their own hopes for religious freedom and visiting betrayal and death on the free people of this land. We lament the role our faith had in covering over the truth with comforting false stories and wishful histories. We witness the grief of those indigenous peoples still here, still sovereign, who now mark the day our government calls Thanksgiving as a day of mourning. And with the teachings of those very same peoples, alongside each of our ancestors among the ancients of every tradition, we give thanks for this harvest time, for the abundance of the earth and the human urge across millennia to feast, though the lean times fast approach. We give thanks for all who grow and harvest and prepare the food that sustains our bodies every day. We give thanks for the opportunity to devote a day to rest and gratitude and the ties of love and kinship that bind families of blood and of choice, no matter how we find this year to mark that day. Together we grieve, together we are grateful. May our hearts be wide and deep and open and connected enough to hold it all together. With these and with the silent yearnings of our spirits, we join in prayer and in love. Amen. Now is the time for our offertory, the moment in the service when, if we were here in this room, we would pass the plate. If you're moved by our worship this morning, I invite you to donate using the yellow button in the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. As you may have read in your weekly email news, we now have a new donation system, which is now in place, which makes it easier than ever to give your gift. Now you can clearly mark it as pledge or plate, and you can even make it recurring. Hooray! And remember, especially apt for this Thanksgiving weekend, half our donations this month of November go to Bread of Life, which feeds the hungry in nearby Malden. And now, with a holiday treat for your ears, is our choir with their version of the gospel classic, Every Day is a Day for Thanksgiving.
Every day is a day of Thanksgiving. God's been so good to me.
was fun. Thank you, choir. And now our reading, which, yes. Lama Rod Owens is a Black, queer, American-born Tibetan Buddhist teacher. He was raised in the Christian church, and after becoming a Buddhist monk, he graduated from Harvard Divinity School. In a recent book by 3 Black American Buddhists, Owens shares his perspective on healing. I've put the reading up on 2 slides so you can follow it along if you like. Josh, can you share the slides, please? Thank you. Healing is being situated in love. Healing is not just the courage to love, but to be loved. It is the courage to want to be happy, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. We cannot medicate the pain away. We embrace it, and in so doing, establish a new relationship with the experience. Healing is a movement and work toward wholeness, something always in process. It is the basic, ordinary work of staying engaged with our own hurt and limitations. Healing means we are holding the space for our woundedness and allowing it to open our hearts to the reality that we are not the only people who are hurt, lonely, angry, or frustrated. Everyone else carries around the same woundedness. May all beings be seen, held kindly, and loved. May we all one day surrender to the weight of being healed. Here ends the reading. So, a few weeks ago, on a beautiful October day, I asked a couple of folks from the worship committee to meet with me, to give me their ideas and help me plan worship for November. How could we support people around whatever happens with the election, I asked them. What would people need to prepare for a winter of quarantine? Ann Noonan, this year's chair of the worship committee, and Jenny Wengrovius, last year's chair, met with me outdoors in Cedar Park, just a couple of blocks from the church. It must have been a Thursday because as we sat on lawn chairs off to one side of the park, people were busy walking around us, setting up tables for the Melrose Farmers Market. We talked for a while about November's worship theme of healing. We are definitely going to need to talk about that then, said Anne with a smile. Then she followed it with, you should talk about the TLCs. What do you mean? I said, what TLCs? Anne went on to explain about a paper, now well known in psychology and social work circles, by Roger Walsh, a professor of psychiatry at UC Irvine. In 2011, Walsh cleverly coined the term TLC, often used in common parlance to stand for tender loving care, but he uses it to represent another phrase, his concept of therapeutic lifestyle changes. In this landmark paper, which Anne routinely assigns to her classes at Salem State, Walsh challenges doctors, social workers, and therapists to promote and even prescribe more widely, more than drugs or even talk therapy, lifestyle interventions, changes in behavior that have been proven time and time again to be far more effective, healthier, and safer than standard treatments for many different physical and mental health challenges. And yet still, these lifestyle factors are undervalued and overlooked as treatments by medical professionals. What are they, you might ask? Well, a couple years after Walsh wrote his paper, some handy person made a lovely, simple graphic. They put Walsh's 8 miracle cures, his therapeutic lifestyle changes, onto the petals of a flower to help us see and remember them more easily. Josh, would you put up that slide now, that one with the flower on it? There you go. We'll go through them one at a time. So this flower is one of those things that once you see it and take it in, it seems so obvious, But before that, it's like it's hidden in plain sight, the key to good health. Yes, of course, this is true, but I've never seen anyone put it so plainly, make it so concrete and clear as Walsh does in this paper. I like this flower so much, I printed it out and I hung it up in my office. And you can do the same if you want. You can take it from last week's email newsletter or from the church website. So let's take a look at the petals of the flower. Dr. Walsh recommends these 8 therapeutic lifestyle changes for you and for everyone. Lifestyle practices that keep you healthy and stave off illnesses of many kinds. Walsh recommends, you could start at the top of the flower, spirituality or religious involvement, time in nature, recreation, relaxation and stress management, nutrition, exercise, relationships, and service to others. Separately and together, according to a mountain of research, these 8 TLCs can help safeguard your mental and physical health, maybe even better than all the pills you see advertised on TV combined. For example, let's start with spirituality and religion because, that's my favorite thing. In his paper, Dr. Walsh sifted through mounds of studies to discover what he called a complex but usually beneficial relationship between religious involvement and mental health. What's the catch here? Well, according to the research, Walsh says, religion is most likely to boost mental health when it centers on themes like love and forgiveness. But when it talks about punishment and guilt, religion is proven to be harmful for your health. Interesting. Maybe some of us could have told them that, but it's good to have it solidified by scientific research and down on paper. Here's another fun fact. A 2001 study found that people who attend religious services at least weekly tend to live approximately 7 years longer than those who do not. Even when factors such as baseline health and health behaviors are statistically controlled. 7 years. That's a good reason to get out of bed on Sunday mornings. And these days with Zoom, you can even stay in your pajamas. How about the next petal on the flower, the one I bet is the favorite of lots of folks in our church? Time in nature. In his paper, Walsh references many studies that together demonstrate how our modern lifestyles, largely divorced from the nature we evolved to live in, have given rise to what he called technopathologies, which are dysfunctions and disorders around attention, cognition, and screen addiction. So omnipresent are media manufactured images and narratives, says Walsh, we largely live in, believe in, and respond to this artificial hyper-real world rather than the natural world itself. This state of affairs, sometimes called nature deficit disorder, can lead to or exacerbate depression and other mental health problems. Thankfully, exposure to nature is a handy treatment with no side effects. Studies show that immersion in nature reduces symptoms of stress, depression, and ADHD, and natural settings enhance the cognitive, emotional, and spiritual well-being of everyone, from office workers to prisoners to hospital patients. For example, in hospital rooms that offer views of nature, patients experience less pain and stress, have better mood and post-surgical outcomes, and are able to leave the hospital sooner. For the next 2 petals, I bet you've already heard of many studies showing the benefits of recreation and relaxation. It just stands to reason that doing things you enjoy, sometimes in nature or with other people, helps you release stress and reset your emotional equilibrium. In his paper, Walsh points to the many proven benefits of practices like Tai Chi, yoga, hypnosis, and meditation, especially meditation, which has been demonstrated to be an effective treatment for everything from hypertension to diabetes to anxiety to borderline personality disorder. Based on research alone, Walsh says, meditation and similar skills deserve to be central components of training and practice for all healthcare professionals. Wouldn't that be neat if all healthcare providers were trained in meditation and could teach it and prescribe it, it would be a different world. The next two petals on the flower wheel are nutrition and exercise, which are covered in mainstream media ad nauseum, you might think. But so much of that information is guided or perhaps contaminated by the profit motives of huge industries. Did you know, for example, that a pesco vegetarian diet, one consisting mainly of fruit and vegetables and fish, has been shown not only to boost cognitive performance in both adults and children, but also to fight diseases from Alzheimer's to Parkinson's, from depression to schizophrenia? All of this to say that as you contemplate the coming winter with its dark hours and imposed isolation, it's easy to feel gloomy, to worry that your mental and physical health may be compromised. And I hear that. But let's not forget the flower. Let's remind ourselves and each other that there's so much we can do to care for ourselves and for one another. Which brings me around to the last two petals, relationships and giving back. I'm so happy to see these two up there among the 8, given as much attention as weight and weight in Walsh's framework as diet and exercise. Because yes, the research does show that our relationships and our giving are that important and that endangered. Even before the pandemic, even 20 years before the pandemic, researchers were reporting that Americans were spending less time with family and friends, that we have fewer intimate friends and confidants than previous generations, that we are less socially involved in civic groups and communities. And these trends were impacting social issues like poverty and crime and individual health measures too. Thankfully, all that is treatable too, and you already know how to do it. In fact, you're doing it right now. Being part of our congregation is one way, and a very effective way, to build up your social capital, to make new friends, to ignite your civic engagement, and to practice that important 8th petal practice, giving back. According to Walsh, giving back is one of the most effective of all 8 TLCs. Multiple studies, including those that control for prior health factors, suggest that people who volunteer are happier and healthier and may even live longer. The so-called paradox of happiness is that spending one's time and resources on others can make one happier. As the Dalai Lama put it, if you're going to be selfish, be wisely selfish, which means to love and serve others, since love and service to others brings rewards to oneself that otherwise would be unachievable. A few years after Dr. Walsh wrote his paper about the TLCs, someone else renamed them the 8 Ways to Wellbeing, which is the title of this sermon. But you can call them whatever you like. Clearly, our kids know all about them, as we heard in this morning's story. And you might want to show them the flower or keep it up on your fridge this winter or on the bathroom mirror. I know that sometimes it can be tricky to find the energy to take good care of yourself. Sometimes you just want to eat junk food or watch TV, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. The trick is to moderate your behavior, to remember the 8 petals on the flower, to remind yourself as often as it takes that you are worthy of tender, loving care. And we need you. We need you with us, among us, and on our team, now and then later. That's why I included today's reading from the Black Buddhist teacher, Lama Rod Owens. Healing, he wrote, is being situated in love. Healing is not just the courage to love, but to be loved. It is the courage to want to be happy, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. We cannot medicate the pain away. Healing is movement and work toward wholeness, something that is always in process. End quote. Roger Walsh's 8 TLCs, the 8-petaled flower of well-being, is a symbol of your wholeness, your work in process, a roadmap to your continued path toward healing. May it help you and all of us navigate the winter months ahead with resilience and persistence and hope. Spring will come, new flowers will bloom, and we will all make it through stronger and together. May you be healed and may you be whole. Amen. Now let us join together in our closing hymn, one of my favorites, For All That Is Our Life. Tara is singing it for us this week. Tara, go ahead.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Healing is being situated in love. Healing is not just the courage to love, but to be loved. It is the courage to want to be happy, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. Healing is movement and work toward wholeness, something always in process. May all beings be seen, held kindly, and loved. Amen.